What's up, my dudes? It's a Vigorous Q&A. Another day, another Vigorous Q&A. Welcome to Saturday. Yeah, my Saturday is basically over. It's almost Sunday, but hey, we do this at midnight, so you guys can watch it during the day in the Western world. All right, not much has happened. I started preparing for the SS31 deep dive, so I got about 4 hours in with a lot more hours to go and then recording, obviously. So fingers crossed I can record that video next week and then send it off to my editor because I'm going to Koh Samui from the 18th to the 24th. Excuse me. That might also mean, because I wanted to fly on the 19th and then they canceled my flight. So I said, hey, that's unacceptable. Which other business class tickets do you have available? 18th, 9 o'clock in the morning. That's a little bit early. It means I have to wake up at like 5, 6, and then make my way to the airport and, plunder the buffet for breakfast. Obviously, the the airport buffet at the lounge. So the 17th is Saturday, and that might mean that I might skip the Vigorous Q&A next weekend because I want to go to bed early and wake up early so I can get that flight early. So this is the last Vigorous Q&A, and then on the 24th, I might not have a Vigorous Q&A either because I might be tired from a holiday, because holiday is time for debauchery, craziness, and moon phasing. And I don't want to show myself on camera with a giant moon face that's worse than now. So fingers crossed, I'll have one of these dates, the 17th or the 24th, but it might mean that today is the last Vigorous Q&A up until the 31st, which is the end of the month. Right? I might skip it for 2 weeks. Let's see what happens. Okay. So SS31 deep dive, we're working on that. I got a couple hours in, did some good research. Hopefully you can record it next week. I did a podcast with Nal Naiga and Tanner Tattards on the Transparent podcast, so I'll link that down below. It's not released yet because Niall is also in Thailand. He just arrived yesterday, I think. But he's on Phuket, so I don't think I'll meet him there because I'm seeing him at the art anyway. Let's see. I might get some crazy idea to fly down there, but let's see. So subscribe to his YouTube channel, Transparent Podcast with Nal Naiga. It's linked down below in case you want to get it as soon as it drops. And then we wanted to do the Anabolic Roundtable, discussing off-season cycles and off-season gains, but we had some scheduling issues. Now, unfortunately, Dean has left to Dubai for a week, so next week we can't record again. And then I'm going to Koh Samui for a week, so we can't record that week. So the earliest opportunity we have to do the Anabolic Roundtable is January 28th. It is what it is, but, 3 people, 4 people, scheduling is important, and sometimes educators like us get mad busy. So that's pretty much all the updates I have for you guys. Nothing really new to report. So let's get the disclaimer out of the way, and then let's get started on these questions, shall we? Alrighty then. 400 questions by Benjamin. Feeling amazing back at 150 tests. Physiques even look better. Yeah, I have the same thing. So I'm on 200 tests right now. All the Deca and the Ment and the Tren and the YK11 and the growth hormone. Growth hormone is also out. I want to look good at the beach, obviously. And then everybody's coming up to me, Steve, you look so lean. It's pretty much the same in the arms, but the rest of the body leaned out significantly. And when I get a pump, I look pretty good. So it happens with most guys on cycle, right? You take all the drugs out, and then you start to look really, really good for like 2 or 3 weeks. And then the muscle starts to deflate, and then you look soft, small, and skinny. So you got a golden opportunity of about a month, and then everything falls apart. After my New Year's debauchery, I gained 9 kilograms. Damn, that's a lot, man. That's a lot. That's way too much. I gained 1 kilo. That's it. Now I'm down to 4.5, so you lost half the bullshit that you gained. Should I fast to get back to baseline faster or keep my diet normal? Yeah, it depends on what you've been doing the last couple of days or the last week since New Year's to get your 4.5 kilos down. Like I fasted during New Year's. I had a little bit of a refeed and a little bit of a food and a celebration snack for New Year's, but I was fasting last week, and that did me a world of good. Fasting is a good way to reset cravings. So if you had a lot of debaucheries and now you constantly want to eat candy and donuts and bullshit and ice cream and stuff, then yeah, fasting for 5.5 days, or as long as you can stomach, basically, as long as you can maintain, that was a good time to kind of reset your cravings and get back into the groove of things. and then clean out and drop a little bit of water that you gained over New Year. So 4.5 kilos is probably water, so you still have some glycogen left. You could fast for a couple days if you want to, and then you'll probably drop another 3 kilos, and that means you gain 2 kilos of fat, 2.5 kilos of fat, give or take. 3 kilos maybe. Let's see. After 5.5 days, your fat loss kind of stalls. So I wouldn't do it longer than 5 days unless you supplement with 5-amino-1-MQ, which keeps the adipose tissue going regarding fat metabolism. Fasting really increases nicotinamide N-methyltransferase activity, and that breaks down NAD+, which is needed for fat metabolism. So it really depends on you. I would fast a little bit and then get back to your regular diet. But next time, don't gain 10 kilos, man. It's way too much. How long should a health phase be? I'm also in a health phase. Is there room after a month or so to increase test dose to 150 milligrams, or is that maximum? So a health phase is as long as you need it to get healthy and stay healthy for 3 months. Yeah. So if it takes you 3 months to get healthy again, all the blood work parameters are in range. You do your ultrasounds and your MRIs and whatnot, and you see that you're not healthy, and it takes you 3 months to get healthy, then you need 3 more months of actual health before you start saucing your brains out again. Now, you can increase the test to 200 milligrams, 250 milligrams. Test is not really detrimental to your health, unlike some people might think. I think you can even cruise in a health phase on 500 tests if your muscularity warrants it. But knowing how big you are, I would say that 150 tests is enough. I'm a little bit bigger than you are. Like, I'm 105 kilos. So 200 tests is good enough for me. And ideally you want to keep your, serum testosterone levels within the reference range, which might be beneficial for the stem cells in your liver to regenerate your liver after copious amounts of food and drug abuse. How necessary is collagen type 1 and 3 on a diet? I think it's essential. 20 grams per day. That's why I supplement it in for most of my clients, including you. In TRT only, how much antioxidant support is needed for 800 milligrams glutathione weekly or less? I think 800 milligrams is good. Whether you're blasting or cruising, even on TRT, and then maybe 2,000 to 5,000 milligrams of vitamin C, 200 to 400 IUs vitamin E. Taurine is an antioxidant. Estradiol acts as an antioxidant in the endothelium. Some of the foods that you eat have antioxidants and polyphenols and whatever. So, I would keep that in year round, man. 800 milligrams glutathione, that's what I do. It's a lot of injections, a lot of post-injection pain, but it's for a good cause, and it makes your skin look really, really sexy and good. John Wilson. Steve, does lean body mass and androgen receptor density justify scaling steroid dosages by weight? Rather than flat dosages, is a milligram per kilogram ratio more optimal to account for frame size and blood volume? Thoughts? You could give it a try, right? Some people believe in it, some people don't believe in it. I always tell people to cruise on 1 milligram per 1 kilogram of body weight regarding their testosterone dosages. So if you're 1 kilogram per pound, my bad. So if you're 230 pounds, you cruise on about 230 milligrams of testosterone, anethate, cypionate, whatever ester you prefer. Now, regarding individual response, it also depends on your food intake. So you might need less steroids during the off-season because food is anabolic. It warrants an insulin response out of your body, and insulin is one of the most anabolic hormones you can produce or take exogenously. So it really depends on your caloric intake, and your food intake, and your nutrition in general. If you're cutting, you probably need more steroids than you do in the off-season. That's why most off-seasons end up at 1,000 milligrams, 1,200 milligrams, and 6,000 calories, give or take, right? If you can stomach that much. No retatrutide included, obviously. And when you're cutting on 2,000 calories, then your steroid intake might be, 2 grams, 2.5 grams. So it really depends on what else you're doing and how lean you actually are. But yeah, you could scale if you want, in a step-by-step cycle design, which I discussed 1,000 times before, on milligram per kilogram. So maybe you do 1 milligram or 2 milligrams per kilogram first, and then you gain 10 kilos. So you already escalated the dose upwards slightly by 20 milligrams. Ooh, whoop-de-fucking-do. And then you go to 2.5 milligrams per kilogram. You gain another 5 kilos. So you increase by 10 milligrams over that period. Right? We're talking about months here, not weeks. And then you go to 3 milligrams or 5 milligrams or 10 milligrams per kilogram. I mean, 10 milligrams per kilogram at 100 kilos is only a gram. And that in the larger scale of things, that's kind of like the start of a blast, basically. Unless you're in the off season, then it could be the end of your blast. Because again, with a fuckload of calories, you don't need so much gear. So you could do it, but I just go by flat dosages, man. It's too much calculation, too much work. And in the end result is usually the same. Your blood work is going to be skewed. You're going to feel toxic. And you're going to be huge as fuck. Steve, is there a threshold where compounds finally become anabolic? You've noted 200 milligrams test screws and mass needs 1 gram for real growth. How do you calculate entry point for hypertrophy? You just start low and build your way up. Any dose is anabolic. You could run 100 milligrams of mastestrone and get some anabolism out of it, but it's a poor muscle builder nonetheless. So why not take more tests if you only have a budget of 300 milligrams of steroids to play with that week? You could add in 100 milligrams of tren. You get even more of an anabolic response. So as soon as you add them in, it could be 1 milligram per week, you get an anabolic response. Is that anabolic response noticeable? Probably not. Let's say mastestrone, you get some sort of response where you say, holy shit, I'm really starting to grow now. That's usually a gram. From Primo, it's maybe 300 milligrams. Test, it's 200 milligrams, 500 milligrams. EQ, maybe 300 milligrams. Right, where you're like, okay, now I notice a difference. But in my opinion, mastestrone, you really need to slam hard before you really notice a difference from an anabolism perspective. Now, will it flatten you out, dry you out, make you look leaner from 300 milligrams onwards? Sure. But will you gain strength and size and look like a freak? Probably not until you ramp it up to 1 gram, 2 grams, which is not something I would recommend because it literally makes you look like an ashtray. Right? And then you have a great body but a shitty face. What's the point? Right? Nobody wants to fuck an ugly face. You know, and maybe your dick volume is also reduced because it drives so much water off your body. So, yeah, it's probably not the ideal scenario. I'm getting a little bit hot now, so I'm adjusting the aircon. So, again, you calculate an entry point based on what else you're running, and you can always increase. But starting with a gram of mastestrone, just because Steve said it's not anabolic at less than a gram, and then you get a lot of side effects like hair loss and acne and whatever, that's also not a good idea. So start low, build your way up. You can always increase after a couple of weeks. It's not the end of the world. If you started low, you extend the duration that you can run these compounds because it basically the total dose over a certain period of time that makes you unhealthy, not a particular dose if you start that low. So if you start low and build your way up, you can probably run it for 6 months, for example, instead of running a gram of mastestrone for 2 months and then getting all the negative side effects associated with it. So again, you'll have to start somewhere, you'll end up somewhere, and blood work is usually a good indication on how things are progressing. Mike, looking to get shredded this summer and would like to do a cut phase, currently on 175 milligrams testosterone anethate. Should I bump the test to 250 and add 200 Primo? Add 10 milligrams Anadrol for less, 10 to 12 weeks, 200 pounds, 51 years old. Yeah, that sounds fine to me. It's a bit of a jump from 175 tests to 250 tests and 200 Primo. That's, let's see, 450, so that's 2.5 times. I think 175 tests and 175 Primo is already a good start. And if you want to do 10 to 12 weeks, it's a little bit short, so you can increase the dosages. But usually 10 to 12 weeks for most guys is not enough to get lean for summer. And you have more than 10 to 12 weeks before summer hits. You have until June, so that's 5 months. So why don't you do 175 tests, 175 Primo, make as much gains as you can, slowly start phasing in the diet, but not too restrictive. And then you go to 250 tests and 250 Primo, for example, right? Or 300 tests and 300 Primo. So you have an incremental jump. I think that's more sustainable. And then you add in the Anadrol last 10 to 12 weeks. Oh, yeah, that's the last 10 to 12 weeks. Maybe you're starting now and it's a 5-month cycle. Well, I hope I gave you some ideas, but yeah, start low, build your way up. As with everything. Let's see, I got some of the nootropics you recommended, Bromantane, Noopept, and Dihexa. I love the Dihexa and Bromantane. In your experience, how long do these compounds work for before you need to cycle off? So I don't think you need to take them daily, and thus you don't need to cycle off. You take your Dihexa as needed, maybe 2 or 3 times a week. You take your Bromantane as needed, maybe 2 or 3 times per week. And same for Noopept, even though Noopept stacks well with Bromantane as well as Dihexa. And then you can take Noopept twice per day, 10 milligrams morning and afternoon, for example, and Bromantane and Dihexa in the morning because it seems that they have long-lasting effects. So maybe Monday, Thursday you do Bromantane. Let's see, Tuesday, Friday you do Dihexa. And Wednesday, Saturday, you do Modafinil. Sunday, we rest, right? Christianity, we just fucking chill out. And don't take any nootropics. And then you sprinkle in your Noopept, your Alpha GPC, and your Sumax on top. As an example, right? Cycle through them so you don't need to cycle off. But I wouldn't do Bromantane for 6 weeks straight. You'll probably feel a little bit weird. And the same with Dihexa, and the same with, well, Modafinil I ran for a couple of years, never cycled off. And I didn't end up crazy. So, but I feel that Bromantane and Dihexa are a little bit more stronger in your central nervous system and your neurological drive than Modafinil, but I ran that pretty low, like 50 milligrams per day. All right, low dosages is the way to go. Maximize your gains that way. All right, welcome to the Vigorous crew. I'm sure you'll flood the chat with questions. Master Steve, Happy New Year. Right back at you, bro. Happy New Year, Eduardo. In rough numbers, is there a number of weeks, months before you start noticing adding 3 IUs of growth hormone along with your daily 100 milligrams testosterone enanthate, or weekly? Daily or weekly? I mean, visually, already feel carpal tunnel kicking in. I mean, regarding muscle mass building, I mean, it should be noticeable in a week where you get fullness and increased vascularity and increased pumps and a little bit of water retention. But regarding muscle accrual, 3 IUs of growth hormone and 100 tests, it's going to take a long time. On 100 tests, again, if it's weekly, it's not a lot. But if it's daily, 700 milligrams per week, I would say within a month, and then you would see some striking results regarding density and thickness maybe 6 months into it. It just takes time, man. But it just takes time to build your physique anyway. So you would need 6 months to really see a dramatic difference on test alone, or test in Primo, or test in whatever, right? I don't believe in no test cycles. That's fucking stupid. But hey, you still got those people out there. Let's say you give everything 6 months before you see a dramatic difference. And and then you take it out, and then you see a dramatic difference in 2 weeks. I mean, I'm on TRT now for 2 weeks, and I stopped at Deca maybe 5 weeks ago, and now I really see a dramatic difference how lean I actually am, and I'm enjoying it. So it takes longer for you to notice a dramatic difference when you put it in, but a lot faster when you take it out regarding water retention and overall shape. Because the muscle is there, just the water is gone. When I first started TRT a year ago, I had HCG in the protocol and felt hornier and stronger. I'm not sure if it was the HCG or the fact that I just started TRT, but things have slowed down. So I'm assuming that you're saying that you took the HCG out, which means your testosterone, your estradiol, your DHT levels, and DHEA sulfate, and perhaps pregnenolone levels dropped in the meantime. And it means that your TRT is now less. You went from TRT plus to TRT, basic. Entry-level TRT without HCG. So add the HCG back in, you'll feel hornier and stronger, and you'll get more gains because your testosterone levels are higher, your estradiol levels are higher, your DHT levels are higher, DHEA sulfate is higher, in a better anabolic environment. And you might need to control your estradiol if it's too high, because otherwise you get side effects like gyno, acne, water retention, etc., etc., etc. Steve, have you ever done 1,200 micrograms of LSD before? No. Safe to say I'll be going back to mass for the first time in 8 years. 1,200 micrograms is a bit much. Like 100 micrograms I would be able to tolerate in public, but 25 micrograms as a microdose is a little bit more tolerable. I've done 500 or 600 micrograms, I think so, but they were talking like over 20 years ago, man, when I was still young in my prime for drug use. And then the occasional drop of like 300 micrograms, It's already reality bending, like 500 micrograms, 600 micrograms is galaxy bending, and I can't believe how much 1200 micrograms would be. But, 25 micrograms is usually enough to enjoy a movie, and 100 micrograms is enough to enjoy a bad movie. This is the best movie ever. 52% on Rotten Tomatoes. What's up, my dude? Yo, looking shredded in the picture, bro. Nice work. Steve, what's your opinion on DMAA? Yeah, it's a good replacement for DMAE, which was in all of the pre-workouts that were actually really, really good back in the day. And this is a solid replacement. You can buy it at some of the nootropic sites. I think Science Bio has it. A couple other ones. I think it used to be in Gorilla Mind Russian Smooth, but you had to take it out because it was not very Amazon and international distribution compliant. Yeah, there was some serious shit, man. I like it. I haven't tried really pre-workouts for a while because I might train too hard. It gives me a headache. So I haven't really touched pre-workouts or anything like that. No alpha G, no agmatine sulfate. No Gorilla Mode Nitric, unfortunately, because I'm just getting old. That's some shit I just can't tolerate anymore. So, but yeah, if you're young and you like it, then go for it, man. Tina is on the shuttle heading to the cruise port. All right, enjoy yourself. All right, don't forget to enjoy yourself. Eat the protein first, then the healthy fats, and then finish the day off with a couple cakes and snacks at the buffet. And make sure you walk a lot when you enter the port. Right, it's a sightseeing time, so you get your steps in, 20,000 steps or something like that, seeing whatever site that there is to be seen. And then you replenish your glycogen stores at the buffet. Again, I know I'll be doing exactly that when I go to Koh Samui. I already got my breakfast places lined up. Right, Shuk, Ao Tai, the Terrace, Kiri, all the fancy 5-star hotel restaurants with 5-star hotel buffets. And then we got the Capybara Cafe and a couple gyms. The Legacy Muscle Suggest Gym, the Roof. The Roof is something else. That's a dinner place. And then, so I'm fully prepared for my holiday, and there will be a food orgy taking place, and then we'll clean up and dispose of the excess afterwards because I'm too old for that shit. I'm too old. Yeah, I'm going on holiday, bring my Tupperware. Fuck that. No way. Never again. What's up, Steve? Are you excited for the new year? Or what are some things you plan on doing this year? I didn't really plan for anything. I'm going to the Koh Samui. I'm going to the Arnold Classic. We might go to Phuoc Island in Vietnam because I was looking at Japan and then flying business class with my wife's mom and doing the hotels. It was already business class and hotels was like $10,000. I love them, but not that much. That's not true. But we're going to have a very big expense at the end of the year. So we're trying to slowly shuttle some money to the side, even though it's not really necessary. But when you're into finance, you're like you have money set aside for investments and money set aside for purchasing stuff and daily expenses. So I'm slowly setting some money aside for the house, which will probably cost $1 million. And then you have to start modeling the shit and buy everything new because whatever's in this house, I'm just going to leave it there. So I need a couple TVs and a home cinema and a home gym, and it's going to cost a fuckload of money. So this year, the plan is that we don't spend excessively. So instead of flying to Japan business class and then doing a nice hotel, we're just going to go to Vietnam and spend less money because it's closer and in a cheaper country to visit. And besides that, I don't really know, man. There's a couple of people coming to Thailand, so I'll meet those and go to the Arnold Classic. I'll see how I feel about going to the Olympia because that's around my birthday, and I'd rather spend my birthday with my family. My birthday is September 28th, and that's around the time that the Olympia is. So Olympia's got to go. That's about it. And trying to get back to work, even though the process has been slow. Right, getting back to producing some good videos again. It's we're getting there. We're slowly getting back to the grind. Hey Steve, G here again. I've been hearing a lot of good things about modafinil. What's the minimum effective dose for cognitive performance benefits? Happy Saturday, my friend. Thanks. I would say 50 milligrams per day. Yeah, that's where I noticed the cognitive and performance benefits already. 25 milligrams per day, I did not notice that much. And then 100 milligrams per day was a little bit too intrusive, a little bit too strong, but that's what some people need. So start with 25. See how you feel that day. Maybe the next day you do 50 milligrams, and then you can escalate it up to 75 or 100 milligrams the following days after, or even 200 milligrams, which is the medical dose of Provigil for cognitive deficiency or whatever. It's ADHD. I'm not really sure. It's been years since I've taken modafinil. So give it a try. 50 milligrams per day for multiple years is what I did, and that gave me excellent results. I was very productive until it gave me a headache, and then I stopped taking it. Hey, Coach Steve, hope all is well. I have a few questions on injectable Anadrol. For one, I know you're supposed to side inject, but does it still somewhat go systemic to the other muscles? Yes, it does. Yes, it does, because let's say you hit your chest that day on push day, you inject 25 milligrams, or 50 milligrams if you're obese. Right? You do your workout, and then some of that injectable Anadrol will leak out of your skeletal muscle and offer systemic benefits, but a lot of localized benefits as well. So the pump will be stellar. For two, where should I optimally inject for deadlifts? The lats? I mean, deadlifts is mostly like a rhomboid posterior chain and lower back exercise, so you can't hit any of those. So I would just do the lats. And third, I get slight radiating pain into the surrounding muscle tissue immediately after injecting that feels like DOMS. Maybe that's the Anadrol without the ester irritating the tissue. Inject some Winstrol, you'll probably get the same pain. But it could be that it's dissolved in glycol, which is literally dissolving you from the inside. So make sure your injectable Anadrol is in MCT oil and nothing else. Well, benzoyl alcohol and benzobenzoate. So that's okay. But yeah, the injectable orals just burn. Get used to it. Compare it to injectable vitamin C or injectable glutathione, and see how it compares. But it just hurts, man. Like even Increlex hurts a little bit with the acetic acid. So just part of the game, man. No free rides. As long as it goes away while you're training and you get a nice pump and full fucking muscles, then I would say it's worth it. On test, 150 milligrams per week. Primo, 100 milligrams per week. Meant 70 milligrams per day. So that's, how much is that per week? 7 times 7. It's late, guys. 50 milligrams per week. Anabolic, 20 milligrams per day. After 2 salty days, blood pressure was high. Heart rate, 110. Hospital, 95 to 110. Metoprolol, why? No, why don't you eat salt consistently and look into blood pressure medications? Metoprolol increases your risk, reduces your heart rate, but if your blood pressure is high, your heart rate might also be high, and bring your blood pressure down with something as simple as 20 milligrams, 40 milligrams telmisartan might be able to do that. Or you're magnesium deficient. Maybe you haven't watched the Anabolic Roundtable where we discussed all the methods to control your blood pressure. Magnesium, potassium, taurine, keeping your estrogen in range, right? And then you have angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitors, or angiotensin converting, or angiotensin type 2 inhibitors, man, or a calcium channel blockers, right? So you have to find the source of your high blood pressure. In this case, it was an electrolyte imbalance. And, you know, I always eat salty. So even if I eat a little bit more salty than usual, it's not excessively more salty, and my body's always excreting. And if you're always eating salty, why don't you look into empagliflozin, which is a sodium glucose type 2 inhibitor, which promotes the excretion of excess sodium and glucose. The only medication, or one of the few medications that have been shown to improve longevity outcomes, unlike metformin, which has been debunked already. But empagliflozin, dapagliflozin is still up there. I take 25 milligrams empagliflozin before bed. My blood pressure is normal. I stopped the telmisartan, obviously, because I'm on a cruise. I don't need blood pressure management on a cruise. You know, it's prophylactic. Yeah, empagliflozin is prophylactic with longevity outcomes. And a lot more robust scientific evidence behind it than telmisartan, unlike what some of these regurgitators would like you to believe. So look into empagliflozin. Eat a little bit more salty. Keep your electrolyte intake stable. Focus on your magnesium intake, 200 milligrams with meals, up to 1,200 milligrams from supplemental sources per day. But I was like saucing my brains out. So 1,700 milligrams steroids combined, mostly 19 NORs. And training insane. And on telmisartan, 40 milligrams per day upon waking, and 25 milligrams empagliflozin. Before bed, I was on 1,500 milligrams magnesium because I needed it. I needed it for muscular function and to keep my blood pressure in range. I don't want to take 80 milligrams telmisartan because I can get the job done with more magnesium. And magnesium relaxes your arteries because magnesium relaxes you. That's why some people take magnesium before bed so they get sleepy. I think the training was making me sleepy, not the magnesium. And guess what? Daily fasted cardio, bring that blood pressure right down. And your resting heart rate in range. Unless you're taking a boatload of retatrutide or tirzepatide, and then you might need a beta blocker. But for now, I would look into natural routes. I know you've seen every non-identical should be cycled off. Non-bioidentical, you mean? For mitochondrial support stack, how long would you recommend staying on? Does it vary from compound to compound? I don't know, man. I think you can run these compounds indefinitely. Now, there's no scientific evidence in humans for MOD-C. I mean, you produce it in response to training. Some training or some exercises are more productive regarding the production of MOD-C endogenously than other exercises. I discussed this in a deep dive. SS31 has been studied in humans with several clinical trials. I'm not really far into the research regarding the humans yet to draw an accurate conclusion, so please wait for the deep dive. And I'm not really sure how long the treatment takes, but I don't know, since they focus on mitochondrial function and mitochondria are always there, I would say that you can run them indefinitely. Now, would you cycle through higher dosages and lower dosages? Obviously, but I've been keeping him in during this cruise, and I will keep taking them, and my energy levels and fat loss are really, really good. I know you mentioned that anything not... Okay. We just answered this. Hi, Steve. Taking my HDL on Primo and train, how long can I expect to take to get those markers back in a good range? Assuming everything done right, 8 to 12 grams EPA DHA. Oh, that's a lot. I think 4 grams is enough. Healthy fats, fasted cardio, anything else? After you take the Primo and train out, I would say 6 weeks, give or take. Let me see where my levels were. Because I did blood work. Well, I did it after the fast, so that manipulates your HDL a little bit lower. Because you don't have any dietary fats, obviously. Where is it? Documents, medical records. There we go. So I was off the trend for 3 weeks. My HDL was 34, LDL 59. But I also fasted for a week. Cholesterol 100. And then when I was on cycle... this is from October, end of October. Where is it? HDL was 24 and LDL was 45. Wait a minute. Did my HDL go up while fasting? 45 to 59. And HDL went up 34. Wow. Well, at least my HDL came up. So I would say 6 weeks. Yeah, give it 6 weeks, man. After you've removed the drugs, and then you can test again. Steve, I remember your video on obscure forgotten steroids from like 3 to 4 years ago. One of them was Stenbolone, and now that Master Primo is scarce, should I try it since I have the opportunity? I have some Stenbolone in the closet, but it's tablets, not the injectable version. You have Stenbolone acetate as the injectable, and oral Stenbolone. So give it a try. Let us know, man. I'm not going to try it anytime soon because I plan to cruise until at least April, maybe even May. Start a little bit later because I need to cycle by the seasons. Like right now is the ideal time to be on a fucking heavy cycle of like 2 grams or 1.5 grams, give or take, or at least a gram, right? Saucy and juicy and fucking pumped and strong, and because it's not hot. In Thailand, it's now actually quite cold for Thailand, right? It's like 15 degrees at night and maybe 25 degrees during the day, so you're not sweating. And in that sense, it's better to be on the most amount of gear around December, January, February, and then it starts to get hot. So I need to cruise March, April, May, and then maybe June, and then start when it starts to cool down, July, August, September. Yeah, then I have like 6 months to ramp up. 6 months to ramp up and 2 months to kind of sauce my brains out. And then cruise again. So that's what I'm aiming for. So I'm probably going to cruise until May or June. And then I keep dieting just to stay lean, and then maybe restore a little bit of size on my legs. July to December, January. So give it a try. Right? And then depending on your results and how you felt it, and if you feel it was worth the money and the milligram dosage, then I might try it as well. If you say it was shit, then I will still try it. But I'll know going into it that it didn't really have a good review. Benjamin, December 26th was my last injection. Started TRT January 5th. When shall I do blood work to see the effects of TRT? I mean, last injection was Primo test. Yeah, I would do it end of January. Yeah, so you have 4 weeks on TRT and 6 weeks off the Primo E and the other stuff you were taking. So I would do it end of January. You can do it the 31st, Saturday the 31st. So that's 3 weeks from now. If your budget is 300 milligrams and 200 milligrams to train. 100 milligrams test and 200 milligrams to train, I don't think that ratio is too great. Maybe 150 test, 150 train? I can get behind that. Derber, what's up, bro? How's your affiliate sales? Hope they've been well. December, I fucking killed it in December, dude. Holy shit. Legend Steve, about to start 200 milligrams test and 200 milligrams Primo and 5 milligrams daily Cialis, 4 milligrams retatrutide per week for 12 weeks. Main goal is to lose fat. Am I delusional, hoping to add lean test at sub 2,000 calories, adding an Anadrol 20 milligrams the last 6 weeks? Yes. I would say it's hard to build tissue on that unless you start from scratch. Like if you start skinny fat, then you'll gain some muscle, obviously. But if you're like at your peak on TRT and you double the dose, add in a little bit of Anavar and go eat 2,000 calories with Reda, make you maybe a little bit flat. Yeah, it's going to be hard. You'll look a lot better, though. You'll look a lot better. Maybe start with 2,500 calories for the first 6 weeks and then drop it to 2,250 and then 2,000 once the Anavar comes in. Because 2,000 calories for 12 weeks, it's rough, man. I wouldn't be able to do it. Steve, I finally took the leap and quit my full-time job to focus full-time on the business side. I beat your last couple of goals, 100K per month. Any new ones for me? So, Derber also has affiliates. He has a website where he compares the prices of GLP-1s. So he's out of business now because most of the US-based companies don't sell GLP-1s anymore. But I'm sure you find a way to compare all of the other peptides. So if you're making 1.2 million per year, then the next increment would be 1.5 or 2. 2 is a bit of a leap, obviously. And keep in mind, the recession is here, even though the stocks are going up. So you'll see that a lot of the audience will not have so much money to spend on luxury peptides. And especially the ones like mitochondrial stuff or GLP-1s, they're expensive. And I expect this year that sales will go down. Yeah. I expect you see housing market is overvalued. People are defaulting on their credits, and that's worldwide. You see it here as well. The economy is slowing down. You see it in Japan. Japan's really slowing down regarding their currency valuation. So I expect the next 2 years to be in a little bit of a slump, which means you need to increase more volume because you'll be able to get less commissions out of each customer. because they spend less or they spend none at all. So I would at least try to maintain it 100K per month. Like, I'll be happy making the exact. I doubled my income last year, which is insane, but I'm happy to break even this year. So let's say I make 100K a month, and the last year was 50K per month. I'll be happy to still make 100K per month this year. Yeah, even though I'm going back to work, increasing my viewership, but I think that there will be less money to spend, and I could be completely mistaken, but that's kind of what I'm counting on. So this year I'll save a little bit of money. Last year I spent a fuckload of money on IVF and motorcycles, and this year, besides the house, obviously, and the stock exchange and crypto is not really going anywhere, so there's no money to pull from there, or at least crypto stocks, and gold is going up still quite, but you never know when the top is coming in. But yeah, if you could bring it up to 150K per month, that would be great. That's times 12. That's 1.8. 1.8 mil. Yeah, 1.5, 1.8. But you also need to look into making sure that you maintain most of your money. I think that's more important than increasing your revenue. You need to look into how to keep most of that money and not give it to a government that ultimately is going to fuck you in the ass. Right? A government with trillions of debt, and they're like, this neighbor, they got a lot of gold and crypto and a lot of oil and a dictator for a president. So let's just remove the president and take their assets. Yeah, but what about this other country, another neighbor that has a dictator but no oil reserves and no gold and no Bitcoin? I would just leave them there. They're far away, and their ballistic missiles can't reach us, but Venezuela can. So you got to be selective who you invade, man. War costs money. And the ROI with Venezuela is a lot better than the ROI with North Korea, even though there's both terrible dictators in place. Have a great trip, man. I'm 38 years old. I'm trying to get my shit together. You should have had your shit together at 30, but it's never too late to try. 6'2", 295 pounds, now down from 370, but still fat. Just got in, so getting bloods. Okay. Is that insurance? Oh, it just got insurance, so I'm getting blood work. Any additional imaging for someone who has been living a bad life? I would do a full body MRI. If you can fit in the MRI, because at 6'2", 295 pounds, you might not be able to fit. I think Chase has a discount for Primo, like a couple $100 off. That's a full body MRI with the 1.5 detail, but they use AI upscaling and AI to kind of diagnose particular issues. So that's what I would do. And then do an additional echocardiogram on your heart. That's good. And if there's an issue with your liver, you can also obviously do a fibroscan or maybe another ultrasound on your kidneys if there's an issue there. But yeah, full body MRI with AI, something like Primo, I can highly recommend that. And then you combine that with your blood work results around the same time, and then see how unhealthy you made yourself, or how not so bad it actually is. And you're like, I was 370 pounds, I'm 300 pounds, and I did pretty okay. And you're like, I'm going to die, but not anytime soon. I slam caffeine via pre-workouts, no less than 1 milligram throughout the day. 1 milligram? Are you sure 1 gram? Like, most cups of coffee have 200 milligrams caffeine already. I know it's probably too much. Is it detrimental? Do you rate any press? Which press? CNBC? CNN? Bangkok Post? I know, whatever works for you, man. So I would limit caffeine intake to 2 servings per day, morning, afternoon, coming from coffee, and pre-workouts I prefer to take without caffeine, because it's just caffeine. You don't get all these beneficial extra ingredients that you get from coffee. Plus, coffee tastes absolutely amazing. I drink 2 kinds of liquids, or 3, water, coffee, and whiskey. Those 3. That's it. And sometimes wine, or maybe an IPA. It's far and few between. During the day, I drink water and coffee and maybe a protein shake. But pre-workouts, I don't take with caffeine, because I get caffeine from my coffee, and the caffeine from my coffee I feel works better for me. It's more stable, more nootropic like than the caffeine I get from pre-workouts or energy drinks. That seems to be a little bit jittery. You're missing out on all the extra ingredients that you get from coffee. So is it detrimental? No. Are there better sources for caffeine? Absolutely. Hey bro, how come you discontinued Nebivolol? Well, I'm not over 110 kilos, so why would I run it? I don't need it. I would run Nebivolol when I were in the off season, when I get stupid big, and I risk left ventricular hypertrophy. And if I am not stupid big, I'm big, but I'm not stupid big. I'm 230 pounds and 270 pounds. Then I don't need Nebivolol. I can manage my blood pressure with telmisartan and magnesium, and a healthy lifestyle, fasted cardio, daily fasted cardio again. So in that sense, I don't need it. So if you need Nebivolol, take it. If you don't need it, what's the point? Yeah, prophylactically. Dude, you can run like 1 million ancillaries prophylactically and then die from the drug interactions. Regarding your prescription of 2 AUs of growth hormone for me, my genotropin, let me dose at 0.6 milligrams or 0.8. Do I go with 0.6 or 0.8? What is 0.6? 0.6. Yeah, you're cruising, so take it easy. 0.6 milligrams, and the width is 0.8 times 3, 2.4. Yeah, 0.6. 1.8 IUs. Enjoy the down period, man. Less water retention also. Good to see you again for another live, Steve. Thank you for all of your guidance and wisdom. My pleasure, bro. Derber, currently 6'3", 178 pounds. Man, you need to take some of the peptides that you sell, bro. I worked all the way down from 250 pounds obese to see what was loose skin. There's a good amount of my stomach. Would you try to gain size back or look at the skin removal surgery? I think now you need to gain some muscle to 200 pounds and then see how you look with a good amount of abs and tightening the skin with the increased muscle mass that you have underneath. You'll be surprised how much a little bit of muscle tissue underneath can do. The 178 pounds for 6'3" is way too light, so please get yourself up to 200 pounds, but make sure it's muscle. Use TRT to get it done if needed, and then see how you look when you reach your ideal physique, because you're not at your ideal physique yet, I'm assuming. 178 pounds, 6'3", that's not ideal. It's kind of skinny, you know. Basketball players are more heavy than that. So, yeah, maybe you don't need the surgery. And it's easier to get the 200 pounds than to do the tummy tuck surgery or the removal of the skin surgery. I mean, Mike Israetel did it, right? And he was out of commission for months. It does look good in him, though, or better than it was before. On 175 milligrams testosterone enanthate weekly, pitting every other day, estradiol 75 picograms per milliliter. How much Primo should I start with to bring my estradiol to around 45, 55 picograms per milliliter? In this case, a 1-to-1 ratio will bring your estradiol to about half. So let's say 37.5, so you want less. So 125 Primo, a nice round 300 milligrams of steroids per week. I think that's good. And then you test it again in 4 weeks, so 175 test E, 125 Primo, methanol enanthate. And then I think you'll end up around 50 picograms per milliliter. Yeah. And if not, then enjoy the dosages. I just ran a bunch of JBL 4 subwoofers for home audio. Kill, maim, burn never sounded so good. Kill, maim, burn. Don't know that one. I'm still waiting to install mine, because my motorcycle is at the shop, so I got this JBL Extreme. But my motorcycle didn't come back yet. And then I'm going to make Bangkok unsafe playing K-pop as loud as I can. And I got this application on my phone. What is it called? Power Amp. And then you can preamp it to like 9 decibels. It sounds so loud, bro. Preamp it 9 decibels more, and then you get a little bit of distortion, but that's okay. And the bass feels good, man. What's the feel difference between modafinil and Adderall? Well, so I haven't tried much Adderall in my life because it's illegal here. It's an amphetamine, and that gets you in trouble. I don't know. I mean, Adderall is a little bit more drug-like, like speedy, obviously. And modafinil seems to be more of an underlying compound that helps with dopaminergic and serotonergic signaling, whereas Adderall hits all the receptors. I don't know. Try modafinil 50 milligrams and then compare that to 5 milligrams Adderall. I think that's a comparable dose. But modafinil is more of a nootropic and Adderall is more of a stimulant, or it's actually just a stimulant. And some people say they get nootropic benefits out of it, and those are usually the people that have ADHD. Yeah. Like Adderall feels like drugs to me, and modafinil feels like a nootropic. Yeah. Adderall feels good, modafinil doesn't. I still like the feeling of modafinil until it gave me a headache. But Adderall does feel good. Yeah, it does give you a euphoric feeling. And modafinil does not. Following up on your points about side injecting injectable Anadrol, do you get similar localized benefits when side injecting test No-Ester? Yeah, it's pretty much the same, but you get less of a pump with test No-Ester compared to injectable Anadrol. With injectable Winstrol, you get more localized inflammation, it seems. So I would tell competitors to do all of their Winstrol shots in the lats. Sounds like Derek Lunsford has been paying attention to that protocol. Or the biceps, right? It's a little bit too inflamed, Derek. We all know what you're doing, bro. It's PMAA. No, it's just side injections, guys. It's just side injections. But you need that coaching eye. So test No-Ester will give you good pumps, but not as good as Anadrol. And Winstrol will not really give you pumps, but some inflammation and dryness systemically. I never really got much side enhancement regarding performance from Winstrol, but it did give me more fullness. But you get fullness from Anadrol and test No-Ester also. But test No-Ester converts to estradiol, which is not favorable for a competition. And after a couple of days on injectable Anadrol, you're also a little bit watery because it promotes a lot of mineral retention, which is something you're trying to manipulate leading into a bodybuilding contest. And Winstrol seems to be quite favorable for that. It gives you fullness and inflammation, and not the expense of detail, but it also disperses the water. So Winstrol is the perfect injectable pre-contest no-ester injectable oral, and then Anadrol is the perfect injectable no-ester oral that you can take for actually increasing performance. I never noticed an immediate benefit from injectable YK11, and trust me, I did side enhancement with that as well. Didn't notice anything, so I just did that SubQ to get stable levels throughout the day. And then and that gave me some hardness, dryness, fullness comparable to Superdrol, and also dry joints to the point I had to stop it. When is Steve doing high-dose SLU PP332 again? So, of course, when I go to Koh Samui. Then it's been, let's say, 2 months that I stopped it. When did I stop it? I think it was November. I didn't take it in December, January. So, yeah, let's say 2 months, 6 weeks, 7 weeks. So I'll take 400 milligrams while I'm in Koh Samui to prevent fat gain. Because I will be eating. And I'll take the metformin and the Garcinia and all that shit. Right? I just need a little vacation from this diet, man. I'm fucking eating the same fucking boring foods besides Sunday. Just need a week of debauchery, but I don't want to gain 9 kilos like you did, Benjamin. Bro. Last time with low test levels, testosterone 700 milligrams with estradiol 56, prolactin 40, that's pretty high. SHBG 20, those downstream markers align with real exposure. If it were underdosed, those wouldn't be there. Well, prolactin can be elevated if you're dopamine deficient, and SHBG for your testosterone levels and estradiol levels look good, but I can't remember what you were taking. You were taking like a couple 100 milligrams, right? So I don't know, man. It doesn't sound right to me, but I can't remember half the shit I talked about last weekend because this is work for me, and as soon as work is over, I fucking disconnect. I don't bring these questions with me the rest of the day. I've been off TRT and on a Fertility Stack for 6 months. 75 IUs FSH every other day. 666 IUs HCG. Ooh, every day. So you're doing it wrong. It should be 75 IUs FSH every day and 1,000 IUs HCG every other day. Glutathione, vitamins. Can I go back on a low dose TRT without severely hurting my sperm production? No. Go do a semen analysis, see where you're at, and keep trying to get your wife pregnant. No testosterone, man. Double the FSH and go to 1,000 IUs HCG every other day. HCG works better if you take it every other day, and FSH works better if you take it every day. Watch the 2.5 hour fertility deep dive if you haven't already. I explain everything there. And I can't remember why the exact reasons, but long story short, 75 IUs FSH every day brings your serum levels to 2.53 milli-IUs per milliliter. If you do it every other day, it's only 1, so that's barely in the reference range. And 1,000 IUs HCG every other day seems to be better, at least for testosterone and estradiol levels, than if you do it daily. So you have a little bit of a down period for the receptors to kind of resensitize and get that G protein signaling going, something like that. Glutathione, frequently, vitamins, taurine, etc., every single day. But no, don't go on TRT until you get your wife pregnant, because TRT hurts your chances of having a boy due to oxidative stress. Do you ever go hypo from hard training in the gym, or how to prevent it without extra carbs? No, I was going hypo on high dose SLU. I was going hypo on the follistatin experiments. But no, really, when I'm in the gym, I don't really go hypo. But it's probably because cortisol goes up, and then cortisol causes a little bit of glycogenolysis or gluconeogenesis, and so it's release of glycogen from the liver, or the production of glycogen from amino acids, and whether those amino acids are coming from skeletal muscle or the food that I just ate, I'm not entirely sure. But I never go hypo during training unless I took insulin. But if I take insulin, then I also have pre-workout or intra-workout, sorry. So maybe you need to be in a ketogenic state. Maybe you're doing too much volume. Maybe you're taking berberine too close to the workout, or simple sugars before the workout, and then you get a insulin dump and a hypoglycemia crash, basically. So I would just revise your protocol to see what the root cause could be, and then make the appropriate adjustments. September 28th, my Libra brother. Olympia is my birthday trip. Yeah, I'd rather celebrate my birthday with my family, man. So I think it's Olympia's until the 27th, right? And then the 28th is what, Sunday? Oh, no, Monday. Bad case of the Mondays on your birthday. So yeah, the Olympia is what, 24, 25, 26? And then 27 you would fly out. But I have a 2-day trip coming home, so I would be home on the 29th. And I don't want to celebrate my birthday in business class. And I'm not going to the Olympia if I'm flying home on the 25th, which is basically Olympia weekend. So, yeah, probably not going to make it this year. Don't blame me. Blame Dan Solomon. My birthday has been set in stone for 43 years. The Olympia is just dynamic, man. It can be held anytime, anywhere. Put it in Dubai. It's a little bit closer. Why no one uses the RX fish oil Vescapa or isocopent ethyl? Maybe it's hard to source. Maybe it's expensive. I don't know. I haven't seen it on iHerb. So I get my California Gold Nutrition or the Gorilla Mind one, and that works just fine. Mike's a September man. September men are the best. Yeah, that's true. We even got our own song. Do you remember? When it was September. Yeah, it's been around for ages, longer than I have been. Earth, Wind, and Fire, baby. And then every remix that came after that. Just came to post and like and listen to Encyclopedia. Steve, thanks for all the experience and knowledge you share. Thank you very much for the compliments, bro. Silver is going crazy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a bit late to get in now. Stopped enclomiphene, started 175 milligrams testosterone propionate a week, everyday injections. Total testosterone 2500. Bioavailable 950, free 443. SHG 44, that will come down with time. Estradiol 46, does it seem a bit high for my dosage? No, that seems more reasonable than what the other guys are getting. It should be around this. Now, it could be that you have low body mass, or you're low metabolizer, or poor androgen receptor function, but this seems better than what the other guys are doing. So I would say that your test is legit. You're taking test propionate, which has more testosterone when you take the ester away compared to testosterone inactivated recipionate. And it metabolizes quicker also, so serum levels rise higher than you would with inactivated recipionate. So I would say this is good. Your SHBG will come down a little bit over time, but seems good to me, man. Enjoy it. Let's see. Where am I? Oh, there we are. Steve, hope everything is blessed with you in this new year. Just wondering how come everybody says we can't do glutathione shots SubQ. Orally, I am. It's the volume. I think you can do it SubQ. It shouldn't be a problem. But a glutathione shot is usually 200 milligrams per 1 milliliter. And you need 600 milligrams 3 times a week. And that means 3 milliliter SubQ. That's kind of a big injection SubQ. I would say 1 milliliter SubQ is fine, but 3 milliliters is pushing it. You could give it a try. I've always done it intramuscular because my shots are 4 milliliters. I get the Bayer Tationel glutathione. That's 600 milligrams with a 4 milliliter shot. And I just do it intramuscular with one of those tiny 25 gauge needles. One half inch, get it nice and deep, just how she likes it, right? All the way in. Press it in a little bit so you have that little cross in your adipose tissue when you take the needle out. So I had to blast it all the way in there. Plus, I got a big old fat booty, so need to push it all the way in and inject it vigorously. Get that antioxidants in there as fast as possible. But yeah, you can do it SubQ. I don't think that's a problem, but the injection volume is kind of high, so maybe you need to disperse that 3 milliliters or 4 milliliters into 3 or 4 1 milliliter injection sites. Give it a try and let us know. Which doctor specialty do you recommend consulting to get checked nocturnia? I don't know. Urologist? I think it's a urologist. China guarantees the sovereignty of North Korea. Yeah, true. And Russia also. I mean, half the Russian army is North Korean. The Ukrainians, are not fighting Russians, man. They're fighting North Koreans. Looking to recomp as I get fluffier than I thought I was. Now just on tested GH. Anything else you'd recommend? Maybe low dose trend. How low would you cut calories? Higher coach. Come on now. There's a million different drugs and yeah. We're not going to sit here for 30 minutes. Hire a coach, dude. Come on. What else would you recommend? I would recommend daily fasted cardio, slight caloric reduction, and patience. Love JBLs. Yeah, I also got these little, it's probably going to blast music. These ones. These are actually pretty good. They're not super loud, but I got them for free with the JBL. And they got a little carrying case. So it's not in your ear, but it's on top of your ear. It's actually pretty good sound. But yeah, for free, I can't complain. Metal as fuck, yeah. Kill Maim Burns is the opening to Calm Bloodborne by Automatic Singer. Okay, so I don't know any of those bands or singers, but I'll have a look when we're done here. Any advice on thymosin alpha 1 protocol to improve health? I've been getting sick on and off because of people coming to work sick. I'm not sure. Maybe 1 milligram per day? Or wearing a mask? Not touching people? seems to help. Or find your. I haven't been sick in a while because I work for myself. That's the best recommendation I give you. Become your own boss, so you don't have to deal with people at your work site that are sick all the time. I don't know, man. I'm if I get sick, it's like 2 days, and then it's gone. So I don't really look into these anti-sickness protocols because I don't really need it. So I wouldn't know, but maybe 1 milligram per day. But do you want to run that the entire year? I'm not sure. I just got a hold of modafinil. I'm going to try 50 milligrams per day. Currently, I have 10 milligrams methylene blue daily. At what dose of modafinil would I need to bring? Would I need to think about removing methylene blue daily, if at all? I think that's fine. Like modafinil has dopaminergic and serotonergic effects, but does it increase serotonin levels or dopamine levels? That I'm not sure about. And I know plenty of people who combine modafinil with various dosages of methylene blue and have no issues. So I think it's totally fine. Maybe try modafinil first for a couple of days and then reintroduce the methylene blue and see how you respond. But I think it's totally fine, man. I want to switch from finasteride to dutasteride. Scared of gyno. Did some blood work as a natty. 850 test. 2.3 milliAOs FSH. Relatively high SHBG at 50 with around 30 estradiol. Do you know what I should pay attention to? What's wrong? Feel great though. Honestly, dude, I have no experience with naturals taking finasteride or dutasteride, so I don't want to give you advice that could destroy your penis. I really don't know. I hope you can take your super chat back, but I have no experience with this kind of stuff. So your natty test looks good, but you're also preventing the breakdown of testosterone into dietary testosterone by taking finasteride. So if you take the finasteride out, that conversion returns after a couple weeks to months, and then total testosterone will be lower. SHBG is usually high in men that are natural. Could be, from your diet or just having low androgen burden. So this is a normal SHBG level for natty. And what you should pay attention to, what's wrong. Well, if you're scared of gyno, it could be elevated estradiol, but you've proven yourself that the estradiol is not high. So if you want to switch from finasteride to dutasteride, you switch with a low dose and keep doing your blood work as you increase the dose. But honestly, I've no experience with this stuff, so I wouldn't take my word for it. I would just do more research or ask somebody else who has experience, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. In which case scenario would be a good day to test modafinil? For work or after leg day and steep in a deficit for energy? I would do it for work. It's a poor appetite suppressant. Adderall is much better at that. So I would say for work, 50 milligrams, and then you get to work, and then suddenly the day is done. And you got a boatload of shit done. Any news when Gorilla Mind will have their electrolytes back in stock, on which other are Vigorous Steve approved? Other products for electrolytes? Just salt your food and take supplements. I have no idea when they get stuff back in stock. It could be weeks, could be months, depends on supply chain. And, so I don't know. Just they will make an announcement with the newsletter like, hey, it's back in stock. So subscribe to their newsletter, or you might see it on my Instagram story that it's back in stock. But the Instagram story you might miss because it's only there for 24 hours. And the newsletter is in your inbox until you read it and delete it. The other ones, I just take regular electrolytes. I take electrolytes from Gorilla Mind when I train insane, when I'm sweating a lot, and I take it intra-workout. And which other ones? I think most other ones are inferior compared to Gorilla Mind because this is the proper hydration formula. And the next thing I would look into is coconut water. That's also a very good hydration formula because the electrolytes are perfectly balanced to what you would lose through your sweat. And it's the same with this Gorilla Mind electrolyte balance with a couple of small adjustments. It's very similar to what you would lose in sweat. That's why the sodium is higher than the other ones, because that's primarily what you sweat out, which you can easily replicate. by yourself if this is not available. So I take sodium with every meal. I take low sodium potassium salt, right, with every meal. So I get sodium, potassium with every meal. I take 200 to 300 milligrams of magnesium with every meal. I eat healthy foods with a good amount of calcium, and then phosphorus is found in all of the animal meat sources that I eat. So I'm pretty much covered, and I think it's better to focus on nutrition than rely on electrolyte formulas unless you take them into workout because you sweat buckets. Like I go through 2 of these when I train in Muscle Factory in the summer. 2. 3 liters, man. I sweat buckets. I'm soaked. But now I barely sweat because it's cold in Thailand. So I don't need electrolytes into workout because I don't sweat as much. Sennheiser or Goated? Yeah, those are good. Steve, I have a coach. If you're with communication, how would you recommend finding a coach that's good? Good communication, isn't overbooked, not an idiot with your cycle design. I know. I'll look at the guys from Think Big Bodybuilding Media, like Andrew Berry, Ken Skip Hill, Scott McNally. All those guys are not overbooked, and they've been coaching longer than most people. So I would look there. And they're not overly popular yet because their podcasts are not super big and explosive. So I would look there, man. Aaron Burke is good. I used to coach him for 5-6 years. So he knows all of my practices. And then he's got his own idea. So you can contact him. And most of those guys are good with, or all of those guys that I just talked about are good with communication. So you got to be selective, man. And if you sign up for 3 months and the communication is shit, just go somewhere else. Or say, it was a waste of, what is the time, waste of money, go somewhere else. But even I sometimes take 2 days to reply, man. Sometimes you get busy, it happens. 2 weeks ago, I asked a question about, is taking growth hormone on an empty stomach essential? You got annoyed and just ignored the question, looked up online, so many different answers, very confusing. So growth hormone releases fats, right? Free from fatty acids. And we've discussed this 1,000 times, so that's why I get annoyed. But let me give it to you again. Growth hormone, through hormone-sensitive lipase, increases fat release, increases free from fatty acids in the bloodstream. And it means that insulin has a more difficult time to bind to the receptor and promote glucose uptake. So you're losing insulin sensitivity. Now, if you're sedentary, if you're a fat piece of shit and you have no metabolism, that's an issue because those free from fatty acids keep floating around freely, blocking the insulin from working. If you're active and you take carnitine or cardarine or SLUPP332 or anything else that boosts metabolism at the mitochondrial level and promotes fatty acid uptake and oxidation, then it's not a problem. Because those free from fatty acids, they go from adipose tissue to your mitochondria, and now you have ATP. They're barely in the bloodstream. They don't reduce insulin sensitivity in any way, shape, or form. If you listen to the TRT guys that mostly have clients that are lazy pieces of shit that need a TRT as a crutch because of their lifestyle indecisions, right? They can't do the cardio. They can't sleep properly. They're highly stressed. They drink too much, right? Blah, 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 blah. They do everything wrong. And as a result of that, they're androgen deficient. And now they want to go on TRT plus growth hormone. Those guys need to be worried. Those guys do everything wrong and use these drugs as a crutch because they can't fix their lifestyle. But if you live the lifestyle, you have nothing to worry about. You can take 18 IU's growth hormone and eat a meal and go to sleep, and you'll be totally fine. Yeah. But you got to live the lifestyle. You look like you live the lifestyle. So I might get annoyed because this question comes up all the time. And it should be very easy to discern what the correct answer is. It's not confusing at all. So long story short, take your growth hormone and shut the fuck up. And if you eat at the same time, unless it's like disgusting Cheesecake Factory food with two cheesecake slices, then I would be worried. Can I shoot anytime regardless of my insulin levels? Well, it has nothing to do with your insulin levels. It has to do with the free form fatty acids. So you want to take it on an empty stomach? Go for it. If you want to take it with a meal and you live the lifestyle, go for it. It's totally fine. How long after stopping DHT derivatives do you think SHBG will come back to baseline? Depends on the dose and what you're doing besides stopping the DHT. So it could be 4 weeks, could be 8 weeks. Well, it'll take some time. That's why usually when you start a cruise, 4 weeks is a good time to do your blood work and see where you're at. Steve, if you were programming a 5-day training week, how would you structure it? And do you personally prefer higher frequency or higher volume training, focusing on a growth phase? So what I do has nothing to do with what might be beneficial for you, right? So you need to see which are your lagging body parts that you need to prioritize earlier in the week, assuming you have a refeed in the weekend, because Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, you might have more energy for those lagging body parts than Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then you have your refeed on Sunday, as an example. So I would program lagging body parts earlier in the week. That's why I do chest and a chest-focused push day on Monday and a quad-focused leg day on Tuesday, and then the rest is kind of touch-ups and focusing on other stuff. And I do back on Saturday. I did back today. I don't need any more back. I can do it all the way at the end of the week when I'm dead tired and completely depleted. It doesn't matter, right? The back is already grown. But if your back is weak as shit, you have no spine, you put it on Monday. And if you have your shitty triceps, you put those on Tuesday, as an example, right? So you have to prioritize your weaker muscle groups earlier in the week, and then you use as much frequency and training volume as you can recover from. And that depends on your drug intake and your food intake. Now, if you want a blanket answer, go to my website, vigoroussteve.com. I got free 1-day split, 2-day splits, 3-day splits, push-pull legs A, B, 4-day split, 5-day split. There's several articles there you can read for free. It all explains everything, but it would take me an hour to explain it here. So go read those articles, and you can decide it for yourself. But if you're focusing on a growth phase, then I would prefer higher frequency and high intensity with low volume. But some muscle groups need higher volume. Like calves, for example, you could train it like 4 times a week. Shoulders, you train it like 4 times a week if you want to, just a little bit. Or not 4 times a week, just a lot of sets, 1 time a week. Shoulders, a lot of volume, and then calves you can do a high frequency. So it really depends on the muscle group and what they respond to. But there's no blanket answer for this. Prioritize what is important in the beginning of the week, and then train every muscle group to what it responds to and what you can recover from. And for that, you might need some time to figure that out. Good morning, Steve. Hope you're having a beautiful day. Yeah, it was a good day. Yeah, I did some motorcycle driving. I did some training and some daddying, and it was a good day. Made love to my wife. Win-win. Thank you for thank you for providing the valuable opportunity to pick your brain, your gym. Much appreciated. My pleasure, bro. My pleasure. Once a week, I'm available for 2.5 hours. And even though I get like fucking 500 DMs every single day on Instagram, which I'll mostly ignore, hopefully some of you guys end up here and ask your questions here when I set some time aside for it. Do you have any experience with Stratera atomoxetine? No, I think it's an SSRI, but I haven't looked into it or tried it myself. You mentioned Stan Efferding recommending you to give out your valuable content for free. Have you hired him for consultation or mentorship? If not, have you ever hired anyone? Yeah, I did some consultations here and there. And I signed up to some membership sites. Stan, I just talked with, like at this point, or back then, I was a nobody, right? But Stan was following me. He recommended somebody my insulin ebook, so I sent him a message. Hey, thanks so much for recommending that. I never expected you to follow me. I had like 5,000 or 7,000 followers on Instagram and no YouTube, or barely a YouTube channel. So we got a little discussion going, and then he said, so what I did is just, give everything for free, and people keep buying the vertical diet ebook, and it just keeps selling and selling and selling. So I can highly recommend it, and that's what I did, and it came back with dividends. So yeah, that was great advice, and I would recommend everybody to do the same. Just give it away for free. People will still hire you to hear you tell them the exact same thing you put on YouTube, but then it's personalized, and they feel more comfortable taking it from you directly than the general information that you put online. So many times I have consultations with guys where I know the information is out there on my YouTube channel. I tell them the exact same thing. I don't hold anything back here on YouTube, but it's personalized for them, so they feel more comfortable taking the advice. And if they want to spend $2,400 to me directly to talk to me for an hour, then I'm not going to say no to it. But you could sit through like 1,500 videos on my YouTube channel and get the information as well. But that's significantly more time, obviously. I never did mentorships. I did a couple consultations along the way. I did a lot of membership websites. But when I started this YouTube channel, I canceled all those memberships because I wanted to make my own content, and I didn't want to plagiarize from anybody else. So everything you see on this YouTube channel is semi-inspired by the educators that came before me, and the bodybuilding podcasts and radio shows that I used to listen to. Now I barely listen to anything because I think motorcycle content is more important, and I don't hear anything new unless I talk to Dean and Kurt. So why spend the effort when I can just talk to Dean and Kurt? Right? Everything else is just a regurgitation of what me and Dean and Kurt have put out there, and then all these other podcasts are talking about mitochondrial support. So yeah, that's great, but we all know where it's coming from. And they might have a different opinion, and I usually don't agree with it, so it's fine. But yeah, I think if you're highly knowledgeable, the best thing you can do for yourself is just to dump everything that you know on YouTube. You'll create an audience, and then create a revenue stream, and that can be life-changing. Yeah. And then you have to sift through the drama and the negative comments and the stupidity, and it's just part of the game, right? Not everybody's going to be on a level where they actually understand what you're trying to do or trying to convey and try to educate. But that's not just exclusive to my channel. That's everywhere. That's everywhere. If you go to the comment section of cryptocurrency YouTube channels, you see the same bullshit and whatever else, right? Whatever positive contribution people are trying to make, there'll be drama in the comment section and death threats, and it just comes with the territory. So you buy yourself a nice little $1 million house with a moat, and there's some crocodiles you put in there so you're protected, and some laser cannons, and then you're fine, or that's the plan at least. I'll have a whole army of capybaras at the moat, and if you fall in, you get fucking pummeled to death. Yeah, come at me, bro. Starting the 200 milligrams test with 25 milligrams Anavar in 2 weeks. Got test done today, so waiting on the results. Would it be better to go to 50 milligrams Anavar daily for 6 weeks? No, man. Start 10 milligrams and then maybe 25 milligrams later on. 50 milligrams Anavar is too much for most people. HCG dosage, 500 IOs 3 times weekly. I'm thinking, yeah, that's fine. 500 IOs HCG 3 times weekly with 200 tests. You probably need an aromatase inhibitor. And then I would start at 10 milligrams Anavar for a couple of weeks, and then only increase when you stop noticing results from the 10 milligrams. Could be 4 weeks, could be 6 weeks, could be 8 weeks. I don't know. I think 50 milligrams Anavar daily is very high. I would rather do an injectable for that. 50 milligrams mint, or 50 milligrams tren, or 50 milligrams DHB. I'd rather run that than 50 milligrams Anavar. I got my membership worth in questions today alone. Thank you, Steve. Enjoy the cheesecake. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so the best thing you can do for your repetitive questions, or getting a lot of questions in, is just signing up for the $10 membership. I think we got 200 members now. It goes to show you how stingy people are. Because it's like after every live stream, there's like 1,500 views or something. But we only got 200 members in total. Let me see. And then people complain, does he only answer membership questions? Yes, because it's nonstop. Where are my members? Members. See all members. I got a big member. 207 members. Yeah, 207, which is not a lot when you look at the bigger picture. But that's okay. That's all right. You can choose how you spend your money. In a video you have a comparing Tren Mendeca, you mentioned that HCG seems to be ineffective at preventing testicular atrophy. Should one just take it out completely if you're running these compounds? Yeah, I don't think it works. I don't think it works. I haven't run HCG in a long time because all my semen samples are frozen. I got enough embryos on cold, frozen as well. So, and I already have a daughter, so I'm just done with HCG, man. I'm done. It's expensive, difficult to source. The pharmaceutical grade, I don't really have any faith in the urine purified HCG at the moment. Thanks, Biden. Piece of shit. It's a biological now. Let's make it more difficult for all these bodybuilders to get pregnant. So yeah, and my libido is pretty okay without it. So yeah, I think it's ineffective with progestogenic 19-nors. So I would suggest you to take it out. And it also increases the risk for gyno, right? Because HCG increases estrogen levels, and so does DECA. And then you have the 7-alpha-methylestradiol from Ment. And then the potential prolactin boost from Tren and DECA, and maybe even Ment as well. So, yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. Just blast those for a couple of weeks, get your gains in, and then you can reintroduce the HCG later at a later point. Being off the HCG 3 months out of the year is not the end of the world. What are your thoughts on air fryers? Are they healthy alternatives to microwave? I've been told they're a healthy option for heating food. Haven't found any credible give their opinion. I have two air fryers and one spare in case one of them breaks. I use them for the hamburger patties that I make, which is a mix of sirloin beef, but that's ground up, and then beef liver, which is ground up, and then chicken breast, which is ground up. And then sometimes I throw in a little bit of pork tenderloin if I feel naughty. So it's like 3 or 4 different kinds of meat. I make 2 hamburger patties, about 300 grams, 12 ounces. I eat that twice per day with kale, some avocado, or some olive oil, or some mixed nuts. So that's my ketogenic meal. I eat 2 meals of those. And then I throw my salmon in there. Obviously, I use kale in the or other vegetables in the air fryer, but it's mostly kale. That's what I like. Put some olive oil spray on there, nice and crispy kale chips. So good, man. So good. And then if you buy some bread in the weekend, then those go in the air fryer as well. So yeah, I'm an air fryer fanatic. Of course, I put an aluminum foil or aluminum foil, and then I put the baking foil in there because I was doing the aluminum foil, and then I checked my heavy metals, and everything was fine, except my aluminum levels were slightly elevated. So I think cooking on the aluminum foil or aluminium, whatever, it absorbs a little bit into the food that you're eating. And then if you use aluminum foil like for the beef patty twice per day, and then the salmon, so that's 3 times. Yeah, that's a lot of potential aluminum that I was consuming. Thus, my levels were elevated. So now I put the baking foil in there, and my aluminum levels have come down to within normal parameters again. So, yeah, and it's basically just blowing hot air like a regular oven, like a regular convection oven. But they're cheap. They're like, I think the ones we have are like $20 or something. And I have 2 side by side, so one for kale, one for the hamburger patty, or one for some mixed vegetables and the salmon. And then, yeah, it works fine, man. I love it. And it takes like 2 seconds of preparation. Do you have experience with other beta blockers besides propranolol and nebivolol? No, that's the only 2 I've tried. Yeah. And nebivolol works great for me. And then occasionally, I ran propranolol here and there, but propranolol works a little bit too short. I prefer nebivolol. I don't want to dose it twice per day. Of course, you could take propranolol after a heavy leg session, but you could take nebivolol also. That's what I do. So that's good. Oh, so this is a cycle at 1700 milligrams total testosterone, 500 test plus 300 DECA. Yeah, way too low. Way too low. And the prolactin could be elevated from the DECA. Maybe the DECA is legit, but the test doesn't line up. all line up with that exposure. No, it doesn't. Total testosterone on this cycle should be 5,000 or at least 3,500. But if you feel that it lines up, you can decide where you spend your money, man. It's not my problem. I gave you my 2 cents. If you don't want to listen to me, that's fine. I don't really care. Hey, brother, I hope all is well. I had a quick question about cortisol. Do you prefer AM or PM testing? I always do in the morning. How valuable do you hold to those numbers? Because from my understanding, cortisol swings quickly. Yeah, not really. But it's good to test sometimes. I always test it in the morning. And then, of course, my cortisol levels are higher if I drove to the clinic myself compared to when I took a taxi. There's a clear correlation there. And it's a little bit lower if I take Imodin or something like ashwagandha root extract or phosphatidylserine, but it might be a 10-20% reduction, which isn't really noticeable in the bigger picture. But it's a feel-good supplement. So yeah, I drop my cortisol levels. I'm less catabolic, and my gluconeogenesis and glycogenolysis is less now because my cortisol levels are slightly less. You could, cortisol tends to peak. Was it 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the afternoon? So you could try it to test it again there, or you could just take your Imodin supplements and prevent the production of cortisol, and ride it out during contest prep, which is ashwagandha root extract, phosphatidylserine, and Imodin alongside cortisol receptor blockers like Trenbolone and Anavar is a pretty good stack. Might be a little bit sleepy though, but that low cortisol levels have been linked to lethargy. So, but you're lethargic anyway when you're prepping from all the growth hormone and all the other drugs that you're taking, plus the copious amounts of hardcore training that you're undergoing. A lot of times my estradiol crashes despite my testosterone remaining the same. Also, the PP stops working. Any ideas? Natty. Total testosterone 500, estradiol 11. You're probably taking something that crashes your estrogen. What? You're not sure and I'm not sure, but that might be in the over-the-counter supplements with aromatase inhibiting effects. There's a video for that on my YouTube channel. So just type in aromatase, estradiol. You'll probably get a couple of videos explaining which compounds lower estradiol. And maybe your body fat levels are too low. Or maybe you have low individual aromatase enzyme expression and activity. And for that, you need to increase your body fat levels. Or drink a lot of beer. Phytoestrogens increase aromatase enzyme activity. So, you have to find out what the root cause is. But with this, I'm not really sure. But it does seem quite low. Notice ashwagandha root extract and L-theanine have been effective other than lifestyle habits and sleep on bringing down cortisol. Yeah, so that's basically, I forgot the L-theanine, but yeah, you're right. Besides the ashwagandha root extract, the phosphatidylserine and Imodin, L-theanine can also bring it down. But we're talking about a 10 to 20% reduction. But it's pretty good. Which animes do you recommend for Big Paul? Fist of the North Star, Dragon Ball Super, and Solo Leveling, and then any Studio Ghibli movie. All right, can't go wrong with Studio Ghibli unless it's the latest one. That was boring as fuck. Shit, what was the heron and the I don't know. That was the worst Ghibli movie I've ever seen. Even Ponyo was better. Ponyo was actually pretty good. Yeah, Perfect Blue, going to the freaky stuff. Going to like the 80s and 90s body horror animes, like all those violent ones. Devil Man and Ninja Scroll and all that shit. And there's so much good old anime, man. But Solo Leveling, I really enjoyed. Those 2 seasons, yeah. Good stuff. Made it on board the boat, sipping on a scotch. Cheers all. Cheers. I'm drinking my Numtip water. But scotch is okay. I might have one in a week from now when I arrive at Koh Samui. I got a member right here. What was that? This is my middle leg. Hard for crypto. Bro, I'm trying to keep track of the supplement protocol from your video, but screenshotting everything is becoming very difficult. Are you willing to post the PDF slideshow you use in the future? It's in my year-round supplement stack on my website. There's an article for that. You know? But no, I already work enough, so please don't give me extra work. And you don't have to copy everything 100%. You copy what is the most reasonable to you. Right? Don't do what I do unless you live like I live. And I wouldn't I wouldn't recommend you to live how I live. Oh man. No, I wouldn't. There's only one person who can deal with my shit, and that's me. Hey Steve, I recall you running 30 milligrams injectable YK11 for about 6 weeks into, I think, was trying to determine if one injection daily or split 50 milligrams. So I did that. I did 50 milligrams split morning and evening, but I didn't notice a difference beyond 30 milligrams SubQ daily once. So that's what I did. 30 milligrams injectable YK11 SubQ in the morning, regardless of when I was training, whether that was afternoon or later in the day. In the evening time, all the same, I don't get an immediate response, and if you inject SubQ, it seems to be pretty stable regarding the gain. So don't overexert yourself and don't use too many insulin syringes. Modern Amino's got some excellent injectable YK11 at 50 milligrams per 1 milliliter, and get it before they pull it off the shelves too. Which there's no incentive to pull that off the shelves, but the GLP-1s are now gone, unfortunately. So you have to get them from Anabolic pharmacists if you're interested. Steve, we're headed to New Mexico next week to pick up our new dog. Going to check out the Lucha Libre show. Fuck yeah, dude, on Friday night. I'll buy you a luchador mask to wear on your motorcycle. What color? Black and gold. Yeah, black and gold. Let me give you my measurements. Why is this here? I was shopping online. I think my head size is 58, if I remember from the motorcycle helmets, or 57. I have a big ego, but I have a small head. Yeah, 57, 58. So let's say 32 inches, or 23 inches. 23, 32. 23 inches. Yeah. That would be great, man. Are you coming to the Arnold Classic, or do you want to ship it somewhere? Lucha Libre. I always wanted to watch those shows. I used to watch like all the wrestling, like the WCW, WWE, like Stone Cold Steve Austin. He actually has a podcast he did 4 days ago. I was listening to that. I just turned it off to keep my browser browser memory at an all-time low. Because you know Google, or you know Chrome is, right? You got a couple windows open, and you're using like 4 terabytes of your memory. So yeah, Stone Cold Steve Austin was doing a podcast released 4 days ago, and then you had Goldberg, and you had, what was this, the Mexican wrestler that removed his mask. And he actually looked somewhat handsome. Underneath, you would expect like some truck driver underneath it, but it was actually a little bit of a haze. What was it called? Some sort of lip thing that's up a little bit. But yeah, he was a pretty handsome motherfucker. He looked pretty young also. Yeah, have fun, dude. Have fun. If you want to buy me a luchador mask, gold and black, that would be the best thing. Because I like gold and black, as you could tell from my motorcycles. And what I bought recently, it's like a pre-order Sukajan jacket. Let me see. I sent it to my assistant. Like, give me this. Because it's a Thai seller, so I don't want to deal with that stuff. Yeah, so I think that will go really well with this Sukajan jacket. So this is like you can't really see it. It's like embroidered. And then it's got cool stuff in the front, like black. There you go. Is it focusing? Yeah, there you go. Got to put my finger in front of it. So it is pretty cool. It's like $100 or something. So that's on the way. So if you can get me something like that, I'll definitely wear it when I ride my motorcycle. And then, of course, I got a golden helmet to match. And I'll show you. This one is from Icon. It's like a full one. So this whole thing opens up. And then, I'm not sure if I showed you guys this. And then you got like the glow stuff, which is LEDs, RGB. So it keeps changing color. There's like a couple different modes. So yeah, that's what I do with my free time, guys. Steve, when are you getting back to work? I'm not sure. So yeah, imagine how cool it would be if I wear one of those luchador masks underneath this helmet. You do, yeah. It's like the cool guys that wear two sunglasses, right? So you wear like one, and then you wear another one on top. So you wear the luchador mask, and then you take this one off. You got another sunglass underneath. So it's you wear a helmet, and then you got one of those fucking masks underneath. I said, what does he look like? Oh, I'm obviously hideous, because otherwise I wouldn't have to hide my face twice. Hey, man, I highly appreciate it, dude. Let me know how you want to meet up, or if you want to ship it over. I got a shipping forwarder in the U.S. that, can ship me anything I want, including luchador masks or steroids. Love this guy. I built tolerance to Noopept quickly, even after 2 to 3 times weekly use. Any alternatives? Really? Only 5 uridine, uridine 5 monophosphate, alpha GPC. I mean, it's all different pathways, but it's something you can look into. It's all cholinergics. I've been asked in the past, but how would you set up a gaining phase for natural peptides, but no test, push-pull leg split as far as weight gain, 2 to 3 pounds per month or more, or based on gym progression? Yeah, I would do push-pull legs. 2 days on, 1 day off. So push-pull, off, legs, push, off, pull legs, off. And then just keep repeating throughout the week. And if you need an extra day, you need an extra day. And then you keep the intensity high and the volume low. That seems to work well for most naturals. A lot of variety. Like I do push legs, pull, basically. And then I do 6 exercises, 6 total working sets per body part. 4 for biceps and triceps, because I use them during back exercises or shoulder exercises and chest exercises. So 6 chest, 6 shoulders, 4 triceps, abs, a little bit of cardio, and then I go home. And for legs, it's 6 quads, 6 hamstrings, 6 quads, 4 hamstrings, 2 adductors, 2 glutes, 3 calves, and then I go home. And then I split it. I do the vice versa for the second leg day. So I do 6 hamstrings, 4 quads, 2 adductors, or maybe 1 adductor, because I hit it hard with the hamstring workouts anyway. And then 2 or 3 glutes and some calves. And then whatever I do on back days, just playing around basically. I might do like 12 sets. Fuck it, doesn't matter. It's huge anyway. And then you slowly progress. And then, dude, with your income, you can hire a 3D Muscle Journey to guide you through it. They're the best coaches for naturals. So hire one of those guys, and it will be a fraction of your income. You know? If you're taking peptides, you ain't natural. Yeah, I agree. But he just wants to stay natural from an HPTA perspective. All right, guys, I got to go pee. I'll be right back. And we're live again. All right, where were we? Mitochondrial stack changed my life. Do you have anything more to improve energy, mood, and overall quality of life? TRT. And but if you're already on SLU, methylene blue, MOTS-C, SS31, I think that's pretty much it. Just eating better and reducing stress in your life, removing all the bullshit. That's probably the best recommendation I can give you, which means no more news unless it's financial to manage your assets. Oh, Venezuela got attacked. Okay, yeah, whatever. Did it move the market? No, okay, I don't care. And I could highly recommend that to people. You know, I mean, if you see drama in the comment section, just block them. Drama in your family, just cut them off. The friends that are no longer acting like friends, just cut them off. It will increase your mood and energy and overall quality of life. And if that means you're left with your wife and kid, so be it, man. So be it. I mean, I still got friends, obviously, and I'm still in touch with most family members, but the people who are drama in your life, just cut them out. It will really, really, it'll make a big difference. You're not there. It doesn't matter if they're family or former friends. You don't have to save everybody. They can save themselves. I saved myself. I got there. Didn't need anybody else to do it. Do lower IGF-1 levels predict muscle gain? I've always been in the lower 120 to 200 nanograms per milliliter. The max I was able to achieve with peptides was that 200 milligrams or 200 nanograms per milliliter. Suggestion besides more food, sleep. No, some people just produce less IGF-1, and keep in mind that it's in the bloodstream, not whatever IGF-1 is attached to muscle tissue. So it could be a moment in time, could be from some of the peptides that you're taking that actually lower IGF-1, unless it's a growth hormone secretagogue. Metformin lowers IGF-1, berberine lowers IGF-1, curcumin lowers IGF-1, high-dose SLU PP332 seems to lower IGF-1 in some people. Poor liver function lowers IGF-1. Obesity lowers IGF-1. So maybe now that you're leaner and less body fat, your liver functions better, and your IGF-1 will be higher. But it's not the one. It's one of the anabolic pathways, but not the only one. So look at the growth hormone secretagogue, your actual growth hormone, and the mitochondrial support stack, and a little bit of retatrutide to blunt your appetite, obviously, to stay lean and not rebound hard. But yeah, if you really want to gain muscle, you need some steroids. Yeah, you need some steroids. You will not gain much muscle with growth hormone alone or high IGF-1 alone. But as soon as you put steroids in the mix, you get that synergy and you fucking mutate with time, obviously. You start growing. Besides your great collagen stack, what do you recommend for looksmaxxing? Minimizing oxidative stress. I don't know, man. I mean, do I look like a looksmaxxer to you? I think I look like an average old dude that's 40 years old. Yeah, I got good skin, but it's from the injectable glutathione and collagen and eating healthy. You know, if you want to look good and feel good, it's about things you don't do than the things you do. You have all these creams. Do you really think that those creams and topical things are going to make a significant difference if you're already eating healthy and living a healthy lifestyle? You know? Shit, do I drink sometimes? Sure. Do I take some drugs here and there? Sure. When I'm in Holland and only in Holland, obviously. I have my own country, my own legal ramifications. But most of the time, I actually live a pretty good life. You know, if I die, it's not from my lifestyle; it's from motorcycle riding or pissing somebody off with a gun. You know, and then it's over real fast. But it wouldn't be from a heart attack or something along those lines, or smoking and drinking. So I don't know, man. There's a buddy of mine. It's called Aesthetics Waiting. He's got a YouTube channel. Aesthetics Way. I'll link it down below. He's also in Thailand, and he basically does reaction content to similar to Derek and Colton and Johnny Bravo. Well, Johnny Bravo is a little bit rough around the edges, just borderline hating on certain individuals that deserve to be hated on. So he does reaction content and then puts in some informative stuff. So we give him a look and a follow. Where's my... And he has pretty unique ideas. Doesn't like bodybuilders. He thinks we're stupid, but that's fine. I agree. I mean, bodybuilding is from the neck down, and it had nothing to do with the face, but this usually gets ruined. So, for most guys. Not all guys. Some guys stay pretty, but most guys that do hardcore bodybuilding, we just get fucking ugly, dude. And we don't know anything about Looksmaxxing. Do have the auto volume application. It controls your audio based on GPS speed. It's nice when riding. Oh, okay. That's good. But mine is always on max volume, whether I'm at the traffic light or speeding. And I let people look at me and they're like, you're at the traffic light for 60 seconds maximum. And after that, I'm fucking gone. You know? Clutch it into a friction zone, max revs, and then I'm first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth if my motorbike can handle it. Or I'm in an automatic or just open the throttle and I'm gone. And all you hear is like the Doppler effect. Steve mentioned last week about prolactin levels being 37 last week during train on cycle without running anything besides P5P. During what dose of P5P do you recommend for MPP? So I think 25 milligrams vitamin B6 P5P 3 times per day with L-tyrosine is good. So in the past, I would recommend higher dosages, like 100 milligrams 3 times per day, but it could cause some toxicity. And that was without the L-tyrosine converting into dopamine eventually. So why not take both and promote the production of dopamine with the enzyme and the building block accordingly. So every time you take supplements, it's 25 milligrams vitamin B6 P5P and 1,000 milligrams L-tyrosine. And that will get the prolactin down quite favorably and might give you some nootropic benefits. I'm almost done your first cycle prerequisites. I just have a full body Prenuvio scan left. Okay, smart. Do you reckon it's really necessary given I only plan on running test only 200 to 500 milligrams? I'm not a bodybuilder. Yeah, that's how everybody starts. And then like, oh, you know, I do want to add some growth hormone, and I do want to add some TB500 or BBC 157, creating, or increasing angiogenesis. And if you have a little bit of underlying cancer, could be a problem. You might accelerate the growth thereof faster with growth hormone and angiogenesis producing compounds. So I would just recommend everybody to do it, and you might get something underlying, and then you could still continue with TRT, but then at least you have like some sort of roadmap where I have problem XYZ, I can still go on TRT that doesn't affect it, might actually make it better, but there's a couple other steps I need to undertake to get myself into a perfect state of health. And TRT ultimately is to get you in a perfect state of health, whether that's TRT plus or TRT plus cardio or TRT plus cardio and eating healthier. So I would just test everything, man, and do a semen analysis because your fertility will go down. So just do it all. I've been doing everything all the time as much as I can, and I think that's the reason why I can still run these crazy experiments and don't look busted. You know, I mean, do I look handsome? No, but I don't look busted. And there's a lot of guys that look busted in our space. But I do blood work all the time, and MRIs and ultrasounds and scans, and so if I see a problem, I discontinue and I address it accordingly. And if I see a compound that is a repeat offender, then I don't take it anymore. You know? So the more data you get on your health, the better, man. I've hiatus hernia causing acid reflux. What non-surgical treatments are most effective? I don't know, man. I'm not a doctor. And it has nothing to do. So I don't know. I don't know. I wish you guys would stop asking me these kinds of medical questions, but you could try. But I don't know, dude. I don't know. Discuss it with a doctor. I have no experience with hiatus hernia. It sounds like I'm on a hiatus. I'm waiting. And the hernia is just pending there, waiting to be formed. I don't know where it's caused. I don't know what part of the body. I don't know how it's causing acid reflux, and I certainly don't know how to prevent it. So you're asking at the wrong place, man. Keep in mind, guys, I'm not a doctor. I'm an expert in performance-enhancing drugs and how to keep healthy. But medical things, unless it has to do with performance-enhancing drugs, I don't know. We are hoping to make it to the Arnold. If not, I will ship it to you. Okay, cool. Yeah, keep me posted, man, on Instagram. I'll find your message. I'll check it. I check my messages every day, but most of them I don't reply to, unless it's you with the mask. And then, but if you can make it to the Arnold, that would be great, man. Rey Mysterio. Yeah, that's the name. That's the name. Rey Mysterio. Handsome bastard. Thoughts on FLGFR2? I have no idea what that is. What's your thoughts on blah, 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 blah? That's how I talk with my daughter. She goes, goo goo gaga gee 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 gee, and I go blah 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 blah, and she laughs. So if that's it, then I think it's fantastic. Is this another follistatin variant? I don't know, man. I don't know. Glad I came to life again this weekend. My pleasure. FLG. Yeah, I don't know. Clotho. Clotho I've heard about, but I don't know really what it is. So I haven't tried either of them. And yeah, I'm sure people are talking about it and raving about it, as with everything. But I don't know. I don't know. There's so many drugs out there that I haven't tried yet, and they keep pumping out more drugs. I don't really have time to try them all. Stephen becoming Max Headroom, destroyer of worlds. I need a lot more, and some television lines, because that shit is old. Don't roast me. I'm 10% body fat and still crashing estradiol sub 10 on 1 gram test, 600 Primo. Thinking about adding low dose estradiol cypionate to keep Primo in. Worth it or time to ditch the Primo? I would ditch the Primo because estradiol cypionate or estradiol valerate might be more difficult to control your serum estradiol levels. But yeah, if you really like that look of testing Primo, then it would be something you could look into. I think some of my sources carry it. So I don't know what the dosing protocol would be, man. Maybe 2 milligrams 2 times a week, 3 times a week. But yeah, start low, build your way up, and then see where your serum estradiol ends up at. And with cypionate, I think you can do blood work every 2 weeks to kind of see how it affects your serum estradiol levels. Where is it at 1 gram a test? Is it like 25? It's still quite low, right? Maybe you need like test and Deca, bro. You get a lot of estrogen that way. Let's be real. Push-pull legs is chest, back, and sometimes legs. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, like you do push, pull, rest, push, pull, rest, push, pull legs, half-assed, and then rest 2 days because you're sore. Any sleep peptide recommendations? Epithalon worked well. Tried DSP next. So I tried Epithalon when I was fasting. It didn't improve my sleep quality at all. I know it's legit. It's third-party tested. Delta sleep-inducing peptide didn't do anything for me either. Cerebrolysin is a good sleeping aid and growth hormone, for me at least. But yeah, I heard people sleep well on Epithalon. I heard people sleep well on delta sleep-inducing peptide. Same for cerebrolysin and growth hormone. So you can try D-SIP, cerebrolysin, and growth hormone, and see what works for you. What the fuck? Okay. Are you talking amongst yourselves? Okay. My blood pressure has gotten to 125 to 60. Yeah, okay. 120 to 60 pre-cycle. I know that's fine, but the gap worries me. Not taking ancillaries. So your heart is contracting harder because you're on steroids. So that means that the upper one is going to be higher than the resting one. Just good diet and fasted cardio. How would you recommend I fix this? Come off cycle if you're worried. I wouldn't be worried. Mine is 125 over 65, and my heart is perfectly fine. Hey, bro, I managed to convince my doctor to prescribe me Increlex. Holy shit. That's nice. How short are you? Bull run money being spent well. Did you run IGF the same as your peptides version, 100 micrograms bilaterally? Thanks, bro. Yeah, I started with 100 micrograms bilaterally, and then I just ramped it up to 250, 500, and then 1 milligram because my Increlex was expired. So I just ran through it, and then I got crazy pumps and good muscle gain. Yeah, it's still there. Oosh. Steve, I didn't know you were this big. 230 pounds, man. Look at these shoulders. What the fuck? It's just everything's covered by the questions. So yeah, you can start 100 micrograms. Some people get good response from that. Some people need 250 or 500 micrograms bilaterally, and I know people that run 4 milligrams and really mutate. They go through a vial in 10 days or 10 workouts. 2 milligrams bilaterally. Yeah, those guys jump up from classic to open. Good stuff. Johnny Bravo shades, like the thumbnails. Yeah. How far are we behind? 50. Okay, not that bad. All right. I do have to go put in the towel soon. One-time $5 super chat redeemable. Cheesecake Factory digestion not required. Fernando Fritas knows. Yeah. Okay, so I'll put this $5. It's like 200 baht. So do I have 200 baht? Jeez, I'm fucking broke. All right, I'll make a mental note to put the $5 into the Cheesecake Factory fund. And not spend it anywhere else. But it might be a while. Yeah, might be a while. Might be until I go to the United States. Depends on where Chase wants to go eat dinner 3 days in a row with the team. Or the other guys. I'm not too fussy, man. When I go to the US, everything sounds tasty to me, and I'll deal with the digestive issues overnight. Fuck it. But yeah, might be a while, but I'll definitely redeem it. And then that $5 will go into half a slice of cheesecake. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. But somebody already donated $10, so I definitely got a cheesecake slice pending. Much appreciated, guys. Really, really like it. I'll suffer through the indigestion at a later point in time. I hope you get a chuckle out of that, all the idiots from last week's live. Yeah, last week was pretty bad. It's okay, man. It's okay, man. Somebody's got to answer these questions. Might as well be me. On TRT tests, but tried Anavar for 3 weeks, 10 milligrams a day, along with Redditide. Got cramps during cardio a lot. Do you think switching to Turinabol would be better? No. Turinabol is like cramp city, dude. So that means you had an electrolyte imbalance. It could be potassium, could be magnesium, could be sodium. I would rather look into that before trying any other oral. Now, of course, the Anabol will make you bloated, but it's also good for mineral retention, so you'll probably cramp less. But if you cramp on Anavar, then Turinabol, which is an aldosterone synthase inhibitor, which means less aldosterone and more electrolyte excretion, that's cramp city, dude. Look into the scientific evidence. It's like all the 2 papers that investigated Turinabol in humans, they mentioned cramping as a side effect. But yeah, Anavar has that too. I cramp also sometimes. Like I extend my bicep and then it starts cramping. Look at that forearm split. Look at that. TRT, bro. TRT. TRT for 3. Love your advisor's perspective on drama and stress, even though the guidance may be something already known. Just hearing you say it makes a big difference. Yeah, I'll try to throw in a little bit of life wisdom in here and there, because otherwise it's only about drugs. And at 42 years old, with a house and a wife, 10 years we've been together, 10 years, and a kid, 6 months, and a couple motorbikes and financial freedom, I have a little bit more to share than performance enhancing drug advice. Hey, Steve. Seems like Rivas Pharmaceuticals is bringing the uncouplers back. They have their prodrug called HU6 in phase 3 trials. Really? They're trying to bring the DNP back? Or the BAM15? Rivas Pharmaceuticals pipeline. Our pipeline. They got best-in-class mitochondrial uncoupler HU6. What is this made of? Oh, yeah. HU6 is a prodrug of the mitochondrial uncoupler 2,4-dinitrophenol, DNP. Next. Anyway, give it to fatties and let them combust from the inside out. You know? You missed my super chat, Steve. Really? Did I? J. Greg. Oh, yeah, here. All right, my bad. Ever heard of ejaculating blood after starting Superdrol? Probably unrelated, but I discontinued it anyway. Yeah, that's smart. All my labs look normal, and I'm waiting for a doctor's appointment now. Currently, cycle 500 test, 250 EQ. So there could be two things. Could be damage to the prostate, but then your prostate-specific antigen would be elevated, or damage to your urethra following a infection, like an STD, or what is it called? Like a micro kidney stone that passes from the kidney to your bladder, no problem, but then scratches the inside of your urethra on the way out, and then the blood kind of coagulates and sits there. So you might want to do an ultrasound on that area, your privates, and check platelets, prostate-specific antigen, free prostate-specific antigen, and there was another marker that is related to prostate. And platelets, D-dimer, the prostate markers, and then serum electrolytes you wouldn't be able to tell. Yeah, if it happens once, it's probably just some sort of damage. And it's probably unrelated to the Superdrol, but it's good to discontinue it until you get diagnosed and then see what's going on. So yeah, I really hope you figure that out, because I would have a fucking heart attack. Ejaculating blood. Yeah, maybe you jerked it too hard, man. That happens too. Oh, this OnlyFans account is so great. Oh. And you're fucking jerking it at light speed, and then you get friction wounds. But then you, of course, the bottom of your hand would also be like covered in, unless you're a fancy one with a fucking flashlight. All right, on to the next one. Red erases your heart rate. Get off of it. Yeah, all the GLP-1s do that, but you can fix that with daily fasted cardio. My 16-year-old nephew and his friends have been training for a year and keep asking about growth hormone for height. How do I educate them in their peers when their peers are on gear? You're going to have to figure that out, man. Kids at 16 are dumb. Treat them as such, which means you're going to have to be very, very patient and explain to them that it's a bad idea. Yeah, and it takes time and guidance. Ultimately, it was the job of their parents not to do something, not to make their kids so stupid that they would try it. And if they do try it, then they really need to make sure that they're educated. So you can ask them, hey, if you really want to do it, write me a fucking essay. And then you verify everything with your own research and then provide them drugs. So at least you know that it's legit. Can you go to jail for that? Sure. That's why I don't answer these questions. It's a fucking liability. So yeah. Just all the guys that I know that took gear when they were 16, they ended up nowhere. like literally nowhere. They're just factory workers or manual labor. You know, it's not the end of the world. But if you take gear that young, you would expect to have something to show for it, right? I have something to show for it, but I started gear when I was 26. You know, I have a big YouTube channel and a loyal following to show for it, and changing the performance-enhancing drug culture quite significantly with my ideas that are now being adopted. But 16-year-olds taking drugs for what? For pussy? Girls that age don't want muscular dudes. They're repulsed by that. So you can go with the older women, but they go to jail for banging a 16-year-old. Yeah, that's the age gap works two ways. Pedophilia is a serious offense in most countries. Not all, but in most countries it is. So yeah, I would try to do your best to steer them away from that shit, unless they really need it, but then you need it under medical supervision. You know? Yeah, but you can't cure stupid, man. Cramped in the bicep when I do that. Pinned my damn ass, caused cramps. Yeah, I know how that feels. Yeah, it's an electrolyte in deficiency. I've been dealing with brain fog for over a month now. Blood work is clean. 600 tests under Primo for about a year. Sleep has been good. Diet is good. Any ideas? Maybe you're training too hard. Yeah, maybe you're training too hard. Or you have blood sugar fluctuations. You're like in keto or not in keto, in keto, not in keto, in keto, not in keto. You know? Yeah, and 600 tests under Primo for about a year, maybe it's too long. Maybe it's just time to bring it down. Maybe you're subjecting yourself to a lot of oxidative stress, causing brain fog. Maybe your antioxidant status isn't good enough. Maybe you're deficient in choline. Your liver took all the choline and leaves nothing for the brain, which you need for neurological function, obviously. So, or maybe you're iron deficient, which you need for neurotransmitter synthesis. So you say your sleep is good, diet is good, but blood work is clean, but maybe you're not picking up on it. And just run it through ChatGPT or hire a consultation with somebody. Or maybe take a week off from the gym. Maybe that will fix your brain fog, man. I know when I'm training insane, after a while, I'm stupid as a door. So you got to put down the intensity and pick up the slack when it comes to everything else. Last question, since you're probably throwing the towel in soon. Yes, injectable pre-workout like modern amino carved. Do they give the same benefit SubQ, or do they benefit get lost versus IM? I think carved is... I'd have to look in the ingredients. I'm going to go through the verification. Are you human or a bot? Log in. I can't remember what the ingredients were, so let me look that up for you real quick. Yes, so there's L-methionine, L-inositol, and L-choline that helps with fatty acid transport. L-carnitine as well, vitamin B12, B6 for metabolism, and NAD+. So this technically should work better if you injected SubQ, because it helps with fat mobilization from adipose tissue. And of course, the methionine, inositol, choline, and carnitine helps with fat mobilization into skeletal muscle, where the carnitine facilitates it into the mitochondria. But yeah, I would inject that SubQ. Yeah, I would inject that SubQ. Injectable, like real injectable pre-workouts. This is not really an injectable pre-workout. This is an injectable fat mobilizer. But injectable pre-workouts contain ATP. Let me see if we can search for ATP. Yeah, you have the ATP-AMP blend. That I would do intramuscularly because that has a localized effect. Can't seem to find the product. What? Don't tell me you took it off the product list. Aminos. It's such a shame that there's so many legal loopholes you need to jump through to operate a brand like this. You have to call it ATP AMP based amino blend. Just call it like fucking Max Pump or something. NAD+, trimethylglycine, CDB choline, NALT, L-arginine, ATP. So the NAD plus would do something locally, the trimethylglycine locally, CDP choline would go systemic, but it could also help a little bit locally with contractions, obviously, because it's a cholinergic neurotransmitter. NLT, L-arginine, also locally, ATP and AMP also locally. So, yeah, this one would go intramuscularly, and then the carbs would go SubQ, which offers a localized effect regarding fat mobilization. You can't fix stupid, but you can lighten their wallets. A fool and their money will soon be departed as long as Odo isn't watching. Yeah. I need like a little figurine of Quark. Somebody should make that. You know those little cats, the money cats from China, like this, but then with the head of Quark. That would be like, I would make so much money if I put that on my desk. I might just get that commissioned somewhere. Yeah, and then get the muscular cat, with one like this and one is like the meow sign, and then you put the face of Quark on there with the Nexus staff in his hand. Oh man, I'd be one of those liquidator clothes. What's it called? A liquidator? I can't remember. It's late, guys. It's 2:15 in the morning. All right, a couple more questions, and then we're gonna go to bed. 1 to 2 milliliters is a large SubQ injection. Yeah, unless you do 2 shots of 2 milliliters. Don't die, bro. Don't do it. Thoughts on EQ can affect IGF-1 in relation to estrogen and growth hormone. Maybe it could lower IGF-1 if it blunts estradiol too much, because estradiol is a cofactor in the secretion of IGF-1 when growth hormone is present. So yeah, technically, EQ could lower IGF-1 if estradiol is low, if the ratio is off. But if the ratio is good, which you can prove with your blood work, then it shouldn't really affect it. And again, just because high estradiol shows high IGF-1 production in animal models doesn't mean it happens in humans. The Nagus staff. Brunt Liquidator Brunt. For the friend to Joshua, man. You live this shit, dude. Liquidator Brunt. And the guy who played Brunt played so many other characters in Star Trek. It's, yeah, he played, I think he played in Mars. He played in Enterprise, in Deep Space Nine. I think he was also in Enterprise. Jeffrey Combs. Yeah, man, what a fucking legend. He played Wei Yun. He played Liquidator Brunt. He played Emperor Shrine. Oh, what a character was that, no? Emperor Shrine. Or General Shrine in Enterprise. My God, man. Yeah, Jeffrey Combs is a master of all. The Question. That's probably animation, right? I haven't watched those. All right, guys, let's throw in the towel. Last one from Skull, and then I'm gonna log off. High test with an AI or test with a DHT derivative for estradiol management. Which one you prefer? Honestly, I like test with an AI. You just don't look as good as test with the Primo or test with Mastron. But I'll probably next cycle I do is just test with an AI for most of the time. And then I'll throw in the Primo and the Mastron when I'm like sub 8% body fat. So let's see. But it's months away. It's months away. Hey, this guy didn't get the message. Yes. The answer is yes. Jeffrey Combs also September birthday. There you go, man. Best boys are born in September. Watch the Justice League cartoon. I don't have time, man. I barely have time for TV now. With my daughter and my cats and my motorcycles, I watched Stranger Things, which wasn't so good. Fallout Season 2 is ready. I got Red Sonja, that's been on my computer. I got Predator Badlands, just in case. And a couple other movies. And that's it. All right, guys. Fuck your super chats. I put it right at the bottom. I'm going to go. So I'll see you next time. See you next weekend, maybe. And otherwise, yeah, so next weekend I might not be here because I have to wake up really early on Sunday to catch my flight. And I might not be there on the 24th because I just come back from holiday and I might be tired from the flight that day. So you see me when you see me. At least on the 31st I'll be here, but maybe next weekend or the week after I won't be here. I'll do my best. And otherwise, I'm sure you guys will figure it out without me. Because, well, the YouTube channel has all the answers that you're looking for. All you have to do is use the search function. And you don't even have to super chat for that. You just need to sit through a couple ads. All right, guys, enjoy your weekend. Peace out. See you in the next one. And don't misbehave while I'm gone, because I come to collect. See you soon.